war rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and the FLGS Partners, Warfire Minis, and X-Planet.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight we are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. We got lots of chaos on the table today as Ridge are taking out the Hedonites of Slaanesh for their first spin.
Yes, having fun, playing a bunch of armies. So Slaanesh, yeah, this is pretty standard list, and we got Be'lakor, so always good. Yeah,
very similar to what I took to Worlds feels like years ago, but wasn't that long ago. But then our channel members voted for me to play the Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah.
This was always an interesting matchup. It's actually a matchup I loved as Slaanesh to face Slaves.
Yeah.
But we've seen 2 rounds of points increases on Slaanesh.
Yes.
A round of points decreases on Slaves. So we're going to see kind of how that balances out. You ended up losing a couple of units, or at least 1 unit.
Yeah. The Blissbar Archers.
The Seekers.
Or the Seekers, which could be...
Could be big.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll kind of see how things pan out. It'll be an interesting test of both these armies. I haven't had them on the channel in a while. But before we jump into lists, the mission we're playing today is Spring the Trap. So we just got 3 objectives on the table right now. It's hold 1, hold 2, hold more storing. And then the twist with this mission is we haven't done it yet, but at the end of deployment, so we'll do it after the intro, we can potentially pull D3 units each and move them to reserves, and those units can come in from the second turn on from like the board edge deep strike.
Yes.
So that's where things are at right now. Ridge, we were both 1-drops here. You won the roll to deploy first.
Yes.
So why don't you take us through your list first?
Yes. All right, so yeah, we're playing the Hedonites of Slaanesh. I'm playing the Pretenders. Seems to just be everyone plays it. It's just so good not to.
Yeah.
Crazy amount of CP you get, and then being able to give it to 3 units. Any of the commands, just so good. So we have the Contorted Epitome and classic loadout with the Strength of Godhood and the Crown of Dark Secrets.
Yep.
And then we have Be'lakor, and then actually the one cheeky little pick is the Inferno and Raptress. So I love this little girl. So she's in here. She can, if you're within 24 of her, she makes you re-roll your casting, and then if you roll a 6 on one of the dice, then you take D3. And just a cool little shooting attack. Then we have 20 Blissbarb Archers, 20 Blissbarb Archers, 10 Blissbarb Archers, and 2 5s of Slickblade Seekers, all in a 1-drop.
Yeah.
So very simple. The one thing is I don't have tons of bodies like Furies and other things to kind of go around. So not sure about that part of it already. It's pretty light, but it's a ton of output.
Yes. Lean, focus on one thing, which is shooting predominantly.
Yes.
Yeah, and then for my list, I'm kind of the opposite. I want to do one thing also, but it's combat.
Yes.
So here I am playing Knights of the Empty Throne. So I got my 2 big Sitch packs of Varangard, one of them being my general, and then I have just 2 heroes in my list. One is a Chaos Sorcerer Lord who's got the Chaos Familiar for the extra spell once per game from the spell lore. And then I have a Chaos Lord on Karkadrak, synergizes well with the Chaos Knights in particular, but gives me a speedy hero threat that can go roll on Eye of the Gods and stuff as well.
Yeah. He's sweet,
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. The 2 Sitch packs of Varangard, and then I have a big block of 10 Nurdle Knights. Obviously another big staple with the Eroding Icon. And then my only other unit, I only have 6 units here, is a unit of Taurus Cabal off the table in Deep Strike right now, so they'll kind of pop up wherever I need them to store me some objectives. But that's going to be it. Ridge, you had choice of dropping first.
Yeah, first I wanted to, if it was turn 1 that you could pick them up and then bring them down, I feel like it would be all right. Yeah. But because you have to wait till turn 2, it's if you and Prio, then I'm just dead. Yeah. So I have to keep it as it is, and then I'm going to give you first turn. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Sounds good. We'll jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 1.
Sounds good.
Eager to run down their rivals, the Slaves to Darkness battle tactic is magical dominance. The Sorcerer Lord uses Draw on Power, and the Contorted Epitome uses Heroic Leadership. The Sorcerer Lord casts Mystic Shield on the Chaos Knights. Hoping to slow down the cavalry charge, Be'lakor uses the Dark Master on the 6th Central Varangard. Leading the charge, the Chaos Knights use At the Double and easily close ground to their foe. the Corvus Cabal deep strike and claim the eastern objective. Eager for battle, the Chaos Knights charge in and deal 32 damage to wipe out a unit of Slickblades. With the other unit of Slickblades engaged in combat, they pile in but are unable to deal any damage. Wasting no time in putting pressure on the Hedonites, the Slaves to Darkness complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Slaves turn 1, and no surprise, I wanted to be reserved, but there's no reason not to throw the 1 unit in.
Yes.
The way this worked out, I wanted to, my original plan was like, okay, take this objective over here, be as far as possible, so they, whatever, if you want to shoot them, sure, that's a good distraction.
Yeah.
I don't mind you diverting shots. I could have just towed on here with the Chaos Knights, but at that point, most of the archers, if not all of them, are getting into shooting range anyways. So at that point, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna get shot the same, I might as well just be a little closer, push you back, and take out one of your units.
Yes.
Now, I could have split my attacks and actually maybe hit both, but would have then meant I maybe left both alive. You're then rallying both back. I know how annoying that can be.
I could have pulled 2 and then,
yeah, exactly. So, not worth it. Went in, doubled down, took out the 1 unit. Only took 1 damage from the depravity, and the other unit did nothing to me. So
and you've pinned, like, you've made it so that now I can't charge you with that.
Yeah,
so great.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to tie them up, so now they can retreat and take the objective, but you're not getting them into combat effectively. So that's that. You Bellator this unit, which again, I kind of was hopeful that you would use the Bellator early. I didn't really want to send everything in, but I mean, that would have been a viable strategy had you not Bellatored.
If I didn't, you would have just, if you took out both my screens, I have nothing to score primary and you just win the game.
Well, yes, it's very tough to claw back at that point.
Yeah.
But not impossible, because like, the
amount of shooting,
yes,
I guess.
you can potentially drop a unit at a turn and then tie up the other 2 between Bellator later and the Epitome, stuff like that.
In my head, I'm just
a double back.
Especially with the gaining depravity with doing damage. I'm like, this is my only other unit that can do that.
Yes.
So if I don't have any units that can do that, I'm not going to be -1 to hit. I'm not going to get, like...
Compared to some other builds, again, this is basically what I played at Worlds. That was always a weakness compared to some other Slaanesh builds, is that the combat depravity generation was very minimal.
Yeah, and more shooting.
Yeah. So... But yeah, then basically I got my battle tactic and Mystic Shield off them. Obviously, being able to deploy outside 30, knowing your whole opponent's deployment is really big.
Yep.
So got the tactic with Magistral Dominance and my points. So
and now within 30. So.
Yes, now within 30, so I can go for the unbinds, and you can't really
have an easy Magical Dominance back.
Yeah, you got rerolls, but then just any risk. We have Primal Die, so
for sure. I'm hoping there's a few other tactics I know with this book too, so we'll look into that. But yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it, and we'll go into Slaanesh turn 1.
Let's do it.
Looking forward to an excess of carnage and violence, the Slaanesh battle tactic is Depraved Unity. The Contorted Epitome uses heroic leadership while the Sorcerer Lord fails. Then the Epitome targets a unit of Varangard with their Crown of Dark Secrets. Be'lakor cast Mystic Shield on the Slickblades and Enfeeble Foe on the Chaos Knights. The Contorted Epitome fails to cast Arcane Bolt and has Overwhelming Acquiescence unbound, but does cast Flaming Weapon. The Infernal and Rapturous uses at the double, as do 2 units of Blissbarb Archers. The first unit of Blissbarb Archers targets the Varangard and deal 9 damage to them. The next unit of Blissbarbs shoot at the Chaos Knights, dealing just 3 damage, plus 1 mortal wound with depravity. The last unit of Blissbarbs also targets the Knights, and actually manages to deal 7 damage to them. Bravely charging into combat, the contorted epitome attacks but deals no damage. Damn, those Nurgle Knights are so tough. The Knights retaliate, dealing 3 damage back to the epitome, though they suffer 1 mortal wound from depravity. Taking an aggressive but risky approach, the Hedonites complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Okay, so back from Hedonites of Slaanesh, turn 1. You guys know me, I'm going for the risky plays.
You did.
Would have looked like an absolute genius had I killed a few more knights and then did any damage with the mirror. Because of the turning off Inspiring Presence with 3.
Yeah, turning off CP.
Turning off CP and you not having really any CP. I set myself up to, depending on how many knights I took down, which I ended up taking down 4 before going in.
Yep.
I really wish I would have done Finest Hour. I didn't need the CP. In my head, I'm like, I was gonna stay safe. I was thinking about just taking this point and taking Death by 1,000 Cuts.
Yeah.
And then last kind of minute, I just did some measurements and I'm like, there's a good chance I get the middle, which I did.
Yep.
There's a good chance that I can take down enough of these guys, which I almost did. I did take down a Vanguard and split a little bit, but I could have put absolutely everything into the Knights, did Finest Hour. Probably would have been a little bit if I took 2 more down, say. Now you rolled the 1 for Battle Shock, which was huge.
Yes.
So even if I would have killed a couple more, your 1 would have kept them around.
Yeah.
But that play is...
Well, that's a big thing. Like there's so much tech to the epitome.
Yeah.
It's such a linchpin of this army.
Yeah.
So, like you said, a little bit risky right now. But if you can force a big Battle Shock, that is one way to get through like the Knights and stuff.
Yes, and I got Flaming Weapon too. So each one of those would have been a dead knight. Each hit that would have went through was 3 damage and an extra rend from the Strength of Godhood.
Yep.
So it just didn't end up happening.
Nurgle Knights are just so tanky still, right?
-1 to wound.
Shield,
I'm wounding on 4s too. That was the rough part. So I definitely should have done that. But again, first time playing this, so small mistakes are to be had. Jordan was kept trying to convince me to play conservative and stay back as probably the smart move to do, and but he does, and why he has done very well with this army. This is very much not banking, but very hopeful that I win prio into turn 2.
Yes.
Because then I'm in a position where I can...
Yeah, again, this is a matchup for Slaanesh where if you play tempered and kind of slow, you might be behind on points early, but you are on the board, you're lifting a unit a turn.
The amount of shooting you have.
Risk, but there's lots to talk about this that we'll talk about at the end of the game.
Yes, because I'm just you have 2 6s of them. If I don't do something and play for prio, I feel like those 12 Vanguard are going to eat me.
We'll jump into priority first.
Yep.
That's a 5.
It's a 2.
Well, Ridge.
So don't look like a genius in this.
I told him one time he's going to come back to bite you when you play risky.
Yes.
Looks like that might be today as we jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 2.
Let's do it.
Excited to deliver the second wave of their charge, the Slaves to Darkness battle tactic is Lust for Power. The Sorcerer Lord uses Drawn Power while the Contorted Epitome uses their Finest Hour. The Sorcerer Lord casts Demonic Power on 1 unit of Vanguard and Demonic Speed on the other. The Enrapturous redeploys and moves 3 inches, then the Slick Blades do the same and move 5. The first unit of Blissbarbs unleash Hell on the Karkadrak, dealing 3 damage, plus 1 mortal from Depravity. Another unit of Blissbarbs unleash Hell, but they deal just 1 damage, though it finishes off a Vanguard. The Chaos Lord strikes first and takes down the Contorted Epitome. Needless to say, that's not good for our depraved friends. The first unit of Vanguard fights next, killing the Slick Blades and dealing 8 damage to the Blissbarb archers. After the Blissbarbs do almost nothing, the other unit of Vanguard attack and quickly finish them off. The Infernal Enrapturous piles in, hoping to impede the Vanguard, but also deals 3 wounds. The Vanguard use Relentless Killers to fight again, taking down the Enrapturous and dealing 16 damage to the Bliss Barbs, who then use Inspiring Presence. Rewarded by the Dark Gods, the Sorcerer Lord is granted Arcane Awakening and the Chaos Lord gains Mutative Regrowth, healing 1 wound. Undoubtedly ascendant in the eyes of the Chaos Pantheon, the Slaves to Darkness complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
Well, winning Prio, as we said, was big here, just with the risks that you took turn 1.
Yep.
And we saw, obviously, the downfall of those risks in this case.
Had a good idea what was going to happen, but...
Yeah, could have been a little worse, but with Unleashed Hells, I had to kind of mitigate it. Didn't get big charges, so I was hoping to get that other pack of Vanguard, actually both packs of Vanguard further in to like make use of their double activates better.
Yes.
So I didn't even bother using it with these guys. I wanted, because they had the 3d6, I was hoping to like snake them in, soak the Unleash with them, and then like...
Just a couple of them can do so much damage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then the Chaos Lord took down the Epitome, which would have let me fight first, but then the Knights weren't in combat, so it didn't matter. And Vanguard obviously did work.
Almost survived, which wouldn't have mattered in this case, because then you could have activated them.
Yeah, the Knights would have...
With them alive, that puts these guys to 1 attack. So that would have been amazing if you
2 on the charge.
Still get your corn,
but
modifier, but yeah. I tried to do a little bit of redeploying to limit some things, but it's just
fast move, running and charging.
With the coherency now too, with the Vanguard, they're just
the 6 packs are loving it.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's where we're at. Obviously looks really bad, or it was a big blow to Slaanesh. You're gonna have turn here and the chance at a double, so there is still some game left.
Yeah.
And
you can rally these guys up and shoot a bunch of things, and
exactly
hopefully Be'lakor can do something.
Yep, and he can do work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it, and we'll jump into Hedonites of Slaanesh turn 2.
Let's do it.
Suffering more pain than even their excessive appetites could swallow, the Slaanesh battle tactic is death by 1,000 cuts. Be'lakor uses heroic leadership while the Chaos Lord on Karkadrak fails. The Bliss Barb archers rally and return 3 models, but then the Vanguard return 2. Yikes. Be'lakor casts Enfeeble Foe on the Vanguard, then casts an Arcane Bolt. The full unit of Bliss Barbs shoot at the Vanguard, dealing 6 damage. The wounded Bliss Barbs also shoot at the Vanguard, dealing just 3 more wounds in total. Be'lakor uses Forward to Victory to make his charge, then stomps and unleashes his Arcane Bolt, but does no damage to the Vanguard. Hoping for a little more success in combat, Be'lakor deals 8 damage, which finishes off 2 Vanguard. Fighting back in retaliation, the Vanguard deal 8 damage back to Be'lakor. Then they have 1 model flee to Battle Shock. Never afraid of a little scratching and clawing, the Hedonites manage to complete their battle tactic and score 3 points.
Alrighty, so back from, I was gonna say slaves because I'm looking at Be'lakor, but Slaanesh turn 2.
Yep.
Was looking pretty grim, but I was very close to having an amazing turn, and then on the double...
Under the circumstances.
Yeah, so Jordan did the old rally back to Vanguard on 5-ups, which I've done myself, so I can't be too angry at him. So yeah, the 4-pack went back up to 6. I still was almost able to take them all out. With all the shooting, and then Be'lakor actually doing some decent damage.
Shooting killed 2, Be'lakor killed 2.
Killed 2, yeah. So then brought you back down to 2 left and you rolled the 6. So one fled. So if you didn't roll those 5-ups, then yeah, that would have been an amazing turn.
If I failed them both, you would have taken out the unit.
Yes.
But if I still got 1,
the 6 would have been fine.
I only would have brought 1 back, but then I wouldn't have had 1 flee.
Yeah, you would have had 1 and you would have been minus 4 instead. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I would have fled. You still killed 4. So it
Yeah, I still would have killed 4, and you would on a 6.
So,
it would have been 10.
So I would have if I only brought one back. Yeah.
No, but you rolled the 2 5s. I remember I have rolled 4 5s before, having 2 Vanguard left, and it is not a fun thing watching your opponent's face. Just literally the life. It's crazy.
Drain out of their eyes.
Yeah. So the Vanguard General is just sitting looking at Be'lakor right now.
So you betrayed us.
Yes, I got my tactics still though because I did death by 1,000 cuts, and it is friendly.
Yep.
So that was sweet. So I did damage with all 3 of these units to them, and get my hold 1. So
Yes, sir.
not terrible, but yeah, we'll see. I guess the priority see if we.
See where? Oh, that's a 4 for you, Ridge.
4.
Off the table, but it counts.
Yeah, so I'll just go obviously.
Yeah, makes sense. Get the points so we can.
Yep.
And thankful I have that one Vanguard. Gonna keep my other stuff a little safer. But
Yes.
yeah, we'll just jump into Slaanesh turn 3.
Let's do it.
Always down for a double, the Slaanesh battle tactic is intimidate the invaders. Be'lakor and the Chaos Lord on Karkadrak both use heroic leadership. The Blissbarbs rally, returning 4 models. Be'lakor attempts to cast, but has both Enfeeble Foe and Mystic Shield unbound. One unit of Blissbarbs shoots at the lone Varangard, but deals just 1 damage after he accepts temptation. Are those the first depravity points we've seen all game? The second unit of Blissbarbs finish off the lone Varangard and take down 2 Chaos Knights. Doing everything they can to regain ground, the Hedonites complete their battle tactic and score 3 points.
Okay, so back from Slaanesh turn 3. Got my tactic, got my point. Let's go.
Yeah.
Try
to store everything you can.
Yeah, just scoring at this point. So Intimidate the Invaders was easy here. I was going to do Magical Dominance, but we both rolled and didn't get a Primal. So it's like, there's better chance I'm not going to get that. And it can still get that later. So yeah, did Intimidate. And I also somewhat set myself up for a surround, but you still have 6 Varangard, 4 Knights, and a Karkadrak that want to come at me and get me. And that's also if I win Prio as well.
Yes.
But because I took such a big risk early on in turn 2, I just took such a blow in that turn 2 that I'm just trying to get points.
Scrambling now.
Yeah. Yep. But it took out, the first shots didn't actually take out that single Vanguard, so I had to split a lot more here, but killed a couple Knights too with the big block here. Rallied a bunch back.
Yeah, not too bad at all. So it does, like, I don't have a ton of units. Obviously, I can't spread out a ton, but I want to obviously take down Be'lakor to deny that tactic.
Yes.
And then I guess get rid of your shooting. Not that, then you have still good shooting output, but you can't really fight on objectives.
No, and that's where this already with the not a lot of units, we can talk about it after, but the struggle on primary, obviously, if I took that hit, which I kind of knew. Yep,
but that's it for the top of the round. It will go into Slaves to Darkness, turn 3.
Sounds good.
Determined not to let this victory slip through their fingers, the Slaves to Darkness battle tactic is the March of Ruin. The Chaos Lord on Karkadrak uses heroic leadership, as does Be'lakor. The Chaos Knights rally, returning 2 models. The Sorcerer Lord casts Demonic Power and Mystic Shield on the Varangard. The Varangard use at the double, then Be'lakor redeploys and moves 5 inches. The Varangard use forward to victory to make their charge, then Be'lakor stomps but does no damage. The Chaos Lord deals 18 damage to the Blissbarb archers, then the Chaos Knights deal 36 more to finish off the unit. The Varangard activate next, and after surrounding Be'lakor, they swiftly take the demon down. Enjoying the irony of delivering excessive punishment, the Slaves to Darkness complete their battle tactic and score 5 points.
All right, well, I think we're able to close this one out. That was a pretty easy charge. Rally 2 knights back, actually, which
Yeah.
was, it helped me get, 4 inches of movement, but
Even without it, you were
didn't
fine.
even need it. And the Tartar Drac actually popped off, 18 damage, fighting first, then activates
Yeah.
knights. It's actually so good, that combo.
Super strong. You often don't see people run him because Sork Lords and just.
It's like the
more
knights are like good damage, but he adds just a little bit more, and then the activation potential is huge. I think
Gives you
it's
the
2 or 3
free.
turns that I've done that, right? Or 2 turns.
Yeah,
I've
if you
really
can get
made
'em
good
in.
use of it.
Yep.
Then the Vanguard ran down Be'lakor. He redeployed away, but we tried to encircle him and
Re-rolled it. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
I rolled a 5 for the redeploy, but going that either way didn't.
would have made an easier charge.
Yeah,
so
I just went back to the middle.
Yeah.
And then you roll it.
and they had a double activate, so it wasn't worth like going one way. You could have maybe limited some of my attacks the
Yeah,
first
it didn't
activation. Well, I have 2 activations. So.
Yeah, and just the amount of attacks. Yeah.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
killed.
So yeah, they finished the job, and yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote here at this
Yeah.
point. And not much to talk about through the rest of the game. I'd be able to straight intimidate the invaders and surround and destroy.
Yep, easy.
Battle tactics.
You're already pretty well set up for that too.
Yeah, but that's basically it right now. I think obviously the big pivotal moment was your early decision to take a big risk.
For sure, yeah. I definitely should have played. But I think in general, just the list building was the biggest part. So I went with a way more like 20, 20, 10, and 2 units of cav. That's it. In a 1 drop, where I think you need more screens. Having like, I know you were saying units of Ungor or like units of Furies or just other units to be around the board too would help tremendously.
Yeah.
And just having, so I'm not losing my melee threats turn 1 and then kind of, I did go for obviously that big play in turn 2. Had I won Prio, then it could have been a bit different.
That was even turn 1, but yes.
Turn 1, exactly.
Into 2, yeah.
1 to 2.
Yeah, so no, that was obviously a big impact, and we talked at the start of the game about how these armies have kind of gone opposite directions points-wise, and I think that has gone a long way in terms of like hampering the Bliss Barb spam list.
Yes.
Maybe not Slaanesh overall, but specifically this style of list that I ran a ton last year.
Yeah.
And again, 50 Bliss Barbs still do a devastating amount of damage, but you could kill everything else, and then you're not storing primary, for a couple turns. Which
is kind of what happened here. But yeah, them going up again in the second FAQ as well. I still think they're good. Like I by no means play. This is no. Don't take this as Slaanesh not being good.
I think
a combination of
in
things.
terms of having like looked at Slaanesh lists and how it's evolved. I think you're now looking at like 3x10 Bliss Barbs through the battle line. Maybe bump 1 unit up and run 40 total.
Yeah.
But the 50, like you said, you're just too thin. Also, with having taken that hero, think if you drop the hero,
the Enraptress.
That's 290 points. That could literally be a couple units of Ungor.
Yeah.
Coalitioned in, which is nice that you can do that and have Be'lakor.
Yeah. I just really wanted to run this girl because she's painted from so long ago back. Shout out to my boy Jeremy who like actually painted this back old Slaanesh, and it's just such a cool model as well. Yeah. And it's making you reroll cast is good. Like it could have been good against that Sork Lord.
Yeah, the 3d6 honestly, I think it didn't have a huge effect. Maybe it did.
Of what? What do you mean?
With the reroll, because it's not. I'm still like sometimes it actually bumped up my casting.
It benefited you the first time because you rolled a 7 into like a
14 or something.
Yeah, exactly. But if you roll any 6s on all that many dice, D3.
Yeah, if I reroll on average, I should see at least 1 6. Right?
Yeah.
But it's only on the reroll though, so I just half the time you'll see 1.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun playing. The whole mechanic, I get it. Like I got pretty much no depravity this whole game, which this is high armor save, so I'm not expecting to get too much, but just not pinning the threat turn 1, so then I had to get out. So I needed to win Prio to actually take advantage of that. Didn't, then they died. And so it was like I had no way to generate depravity.
Exactly, and that's where this style of the list has suffered obviously more through points, which is what they targeted, right? So it's understandable. I've seen our buddy Mitch running 2 big 10 blocks of the Slickblade Seekers, and they can do a lot of work.
They get way more,
so that's a ton of depravity generation. So I think a little more balance is a bad thing.
The mechanic is so good against certain things, like heroes, things like that, where you offer for D3. Here it also didn't matter because you're playing Berengar.
Yeah, 4 ops
and the first 7 D3s I rolled were 1s. The first 7 on the 8th one I rolled a 3, and I was like, fuck, finally.
Yeah, it can be swingy, but usually you expect a little bit of chip damage, but here it's like random, and then also I ignore half of it. 1 and 4 aboard. Okay, sweet. But I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, this list didn't really change
No.
from the points.
It's the same stuff.
Other than like I now have an even more likely triumph.
Yes.
So I'm like 60 points down, and I just didn't know what to do. Like I could have dropped my cartridge rack down to another hero, taking another unit of Corvus Cabal or something like that. But
That's the staple kind of list. But
yeah,
it's cool with the cartridge rack.
I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, him bringing in the other units is
Good combo, especially here where we are in a bit more of a kind of combat game. I feel like currently
having the activations is big.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I played Vanguard for a long time, and it's very this 2/6 blocks now with the one coherency.
Yeah.
Is just like
Tough.
Yes.
Tough to chew through.
Really good.
We saw obviously I only really used the rally once, but I got 2 Vanguard back, and that was backbreaking in a way.
Yes, that was huge for sure.
Stopped you maybe on the double from being able to go and take a second unit out.
Exactly.
Like-
Yeah.
So, yep, has an impact for sure. But I think that's about it for this game, Ridge. Big bloody one here. All my armor's filled full of arrows, but that's going to be it for the game, guys. We hope you enjoyed this match, and we appreciate all the support we get on the channel. If you do want to go a step further, the best way to support is by checking out our premium membership, get an extra battle report every week, and it just goes a long way to supporting the channel. So thank you so much to everyone who does support us in that way. But either way, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon in another battle report.
Have a good week, everyone.